The standings don't lie. The box scores don't either. I'm Pete Dwyer. This is a division line from the baseball nerd. We are cutting through the noise to tell you exactly where the American League West Division stands and where it's going. Houston is falling apart in real time. The Astros went 1-6 this week, dropping 4 straight to close out their homestand and sliding to 8-15. That's last place by 3.5 games in a division where everyone else is bunched within a game and a half. Injuries have hit them hard. They're claiming guys off waivers from the White Sox and trading for middle infielders from the Yankees. This is what organizational panic looks like, and it's happening in April. The Astros dynasty isn't just stumbling, it's crashing. The Rangers and the A's are tied atop the division at 11-11. The Angels sit a half game back at 11-12. Seattle is 10-13, a game and a half out, but showing signs of life with 2 straight wins to close the week. And then Houston is looking up at everyone else. But what matters here isn't the records, it's the trajectory. The Rangers went 3-4 this week, but showed resilience in road series against the A's and the Mariners. The A's are 6-4 in their last 10, despite losing Sunday to the White Sox. The Angels have been quietly consistent. The Mariners are better at home, but still can't win on the road. Houston's in free fall, and everything about how this division race develops is changing quickly. The Rangers went 3-4 on a crucial road swing that told us plenty about their October ceiling. Let's start with the A's series. Nathan Eovaldi dominated on Monday in an 8-1 win, giving Texas an early statement victory. But the A's fought back with 2 one-run wins, including a 6-5 thriller on Wednesday where the Rangers rallied for 3 in the 8th, but could not finish. Cal Quantrill saved the series on Thursday with a gutsy performance in the 9-6 win, showing the kind of veteran presence this rotation desperately needs. The Mariners series was the real test. Friday's 5-0 win behind Gavin Collier was a revelation. Collier has been the surprise starter, and that performance in a hostile T-Mobile Park showed he belongs in this rotation. The Rangers controlled that game from the first inning, getting early runs and letting Collier work with confidence. Saturday and Sunday hurt. George Kirby and Brian Wu carved up the Rangers lineup, and those games exposed some concerning trends. The Rangers scored just 5 runs across those 2 losses. Mackenzie Gore took the loss on Sunday, continuing his inconsistent start to the season. When Gore struggles, it puts pressure on the entire rotation. But here's what matters for October. The Rangers went toe-to-toe with both the A's and the Mariners on the road and came away with splits. This team is learning how to win different types of games. Eovaldi is shedding the early season jitters, but still has work to do to get back into the form of the ace that we saw in 2025. But the bullpen is the story. Under pressure, they mostly held up. The road test was a test of character, and by all rights, there were parts the Rangers passed, and there were parts that they failed miserably. The offensive inconsistency needs attention. 62 runners left on base in 7 games is not how a team wins. 5 runs in 2 games against Seattle will not cut it in division battles. Houston went 1-6 and looks like a completely different organization than the one that dominated this division for years. The week started with a loss to Seattle at home, which should have been a red flag. Then came the Colorado series, where the Astros managed just 1 win against a rebuilding Rockies team. The St. Louis sweep to close the homestand was the final indication that something is fundamentally wrong. The Jeremy Peña injury compounds their problems. Moving Josh Hader to the 60-day list tells you everything about their closer situation. Spencer Arrighetti got recalled and showed flashes, but the rotation depth behind him is concerning. The Astros' key number is 1-9 on the road. You can't win a division when you can't win away from home. And Houston looks like a team that might be selling in July. Seattle split the week 3-4, but finished strong with 2 wins against Texas that might signal a turnaround. The series in San Diego was ugly. They suffered through 3 losses, including a brutal 7-6 ninth-inning collapse on Wednesday, when Andres Munoz couldn't hold the lead. Coming home changed everything. George Kirby and Brian Wu dominated, allowing just 2 runs combined over 13 innings. The Mariners' key number is 9-5 at home versus 1-8 on the road. That's equally unsustainable. If they can figure out how to play competent baseball away from T-Mobile Park, they will be dangerous in this race. Andres Munoz bounced back from that San Diego disaster to save both weekend wins, and that resilience matters. The Angels went 3-4 on the week, but showed the kind of inconsistency that is defining their season. They split in Yankee Stadium, including a wild 11-10 loss on Monday. They had an equally impressive 11-4 win on Thursday. But the weekend Padres series was more problematic, managing just 1 win despite Jose Soriano's shutout on Friday. Jorge Soler had some educational leave during the season for his shenanigans against Atlanta earlier in the month. But that brief suspension and quick return created unnecessary roster chaos. At 11-12, they're hanging around. But the Angels need more than hanging around to matter in October. Reed Detmers did look sharp against the Yankees, and that's something to watch. The A's went 3-4 and proved they can compete with the division leaders. Taking 2 of 4 from Texas was the week's biggest statement. Jeffrey Springs and Hogan Harris stepped up in clutch situations, showing the A's have more pitching depth than expected. The White Sox series was a missed opportunity, dropping 2 of 3 to a rebuilding team. The 11-inning win on Saturday showed fight, but losing the series finale undermines their credibility. Still, 6-4 in their last 10 games suggests this is not the same A's team everyone expected to lose 100. On the injury side, Houston's situation is becoming critical. Peña's on the 10-day list with a grade 1 hamstring. Josh Hader's on the 60-day list with bicep tendonitis, and his situation has defined their closing roles. Joey Loperfido joined the IL with a right quad strain, further depleting their outfield depth. The Mariners placed Patrick Wisdom on the 15-day list with a left oblique, just 2 days after selecting his contract from AAA. Rob Refsnyder returned from the paternity list without missing significant time, and his first hit at T-Mobile Park was a home run off Mackenzie Gore. The Angels sent Kirby Yates on a rehab assignment to Rancho Cucamonga. The A's made a few minor bullpen moves, recalling Mason Barnett. The Rangers stayed healthy, which might be their biggest advantage, as Houston's roster crumbles and Seattle manages ongoing depth issues. Looking ahead for the week, there are some crucial division matchups that could separate the contenders from the pretenders. The A's travel to Seattle for 3 games in a series that could determine which team stays in the hunt. The Rangers host the Pirates for 3, and then the A's come to Arlington for a massive weekend series. Houston travels to Cleveland before hosting the Yankees, 2 series that will test whether they can stop this freefall. The Angels get Toronto and Kansas City and have chances to build momentum against non-division opponents. Watch the A's Mariners series closely. The winner stays relevant, and the loser starts looking up. That's the division line. Numbers, not feeling. And then we drop every Monday. We're on Apple, Spotify, and Pocket Cast. Like, follow, and share. There's always full analytics, recaps, and box scores at thebaseballnerd.com. Subscribe to The Baseball Nerd on Substack, and I will see you next week.